Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay, but we're on. We're live. We're watching the Dojo Championship semifinals. Got two matches going on. These four players qualified last weekend during the candidates tournaments, and oh, that game just ended. Okay, two draws in this match between Laurent and Timpe.
Okay.
And
And
Thorbidals against Mitch. Mitch is up by one.
yeah, and they're like blazing through this game. I think Mitch has been winning the last four moves, but they're playing weird and in Thorbital's case quick and Mitch's case blazing here.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry folks, we missed the first couple of games. We'll definitely go back and look at them at some moment, but let's just try to understand what's going on here. So,
So first of
oh,
all, it was a Mora, as you might expect.
yes.
And um I mean my consternation begins after Mitch plays Rook C8 and Thorbital's does not like remove the queen or do anything about knight a5 or b5 either apparently.
Hmm.
You just calmly play rook c1 after which I don't know that there's really anything to calculate after knight a5.
Yeah, knight a5 looks very annoying. Maybe queen d4?
Then you trade
Take
on c4,
everything.
then you
Yeah.
trade on f3, then you take on e5, and then you're just winning.
Yeah, it's just like
You've removed everything.
just the dream position. Queen a8 at the end, and yeah, extra pawn, better king, better
Well,
knight.
it's two extra pawns if you even count white's three kingside pawns as three pawns.
Oh, two extra pawns. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, right, because
with half.
black was already up a pawn. Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks very convincing.
Yeah.
A6, A4, and then B5.
Yeah. Which also works, and he could have done it without a6 if he wanted to, but I
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks very nice for black.
yeah, it's another
Just
way to win a second pawn.
just the game position. Yeah, so this one did not work out for Thor. Born 84, thanks for subscribing. Hello, hello, folks.
If we think about the match situation, if Thorbittles draws this game, then he still gets a game four. So no matter how bad it looks here, I would say, you're trying to get a draw. You don't necessarily need to look for desperate winning chances.
Draw would be a miracle here for white.
I mean, like if you took queens off the board, then it wouldn't be completely inconceivable, right? You've got a bishop pair and an outside pass pawn.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, so that's my take. He should buckle up and try to get a draw out of this. And queen d6 is the move I would have played too.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not going to take on d7, but just, I can get back to g3 as needed and get out of the way of the b pawn. Next move would probably be b4.
Yeah, this isn't super clear. At least not easy for black. Though it does feel like black's position is really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm looking
So,
for some kind of force swing, but maybe you just gotta like just get your queen and bishop on this diagonal.
yeah. Yeah, you could go like bishop a8, just announcing that you're going to get the queen on the other side of it at some point.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
concretely, queen h4 is a good move because it stops b4, and white can't take on d7 with either piece, I don't think.
Yeah, this is interesting, but why can't white go bishop takes d7 here?
Rook d8.
Rook d8, rook c8.
Yeah. Knight knight f8.
You mean trade first?
No, without trading.
Oh, just knight f8. Oh, I see.
Yeah. But you may have an amazing move there in bishop c5. Saying like, you know, saying please check your calculations.
Wow. Yeah.
But I also had the idea that black might be able to sort of make a trade and swing the queen over to c4. So I don't know. I think bishop takes d7 is risky.
Yeah, but what else from white? Because
Yeah. I guess when you can't do anything else.
so rook d8, rook c8, knight f8, bishop c5. But why not knight takes d7 there on bishop c5?
Queen d7. Oh, queen g4, g2, g1, d1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this knight f8 could be really strong.
So, chat, just to quickly orient you, these are the semifinals of the club championships. The finals are tomorrow, and these are best of fours with tiebreak if needed. But 2.5 points would win any of these matches.
That's right. So the winners go on to the finals. Losers will play third place match also tomorrow. Okay, queen g4 played. And then tomorrow we're also going to have the under 1800 finals as well.
Feels like white's dream is to play queen g3 now.
Yeah. Well, queen g3 seems... I guess it's not actually... It's not actually forced, but it's I would play queen g3. It's funny. You could go king f1. Like there's...
Right?
Thorbittles might go king f1, just knowing him and his I don't know what to call it, his desire to keep the queens on the board.
His incredible bravery. But here, I mean, I think it's black that wanted queens on the board, not white.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes people exaggerate the extra pawn. But here white's got an outside passer, black's got a knight, white's got a weak king. It all says like that this was a bad idea for Mitch to go for the endgame, especially if rook d8 was game winning.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this is what I was thinking about, because I was looking at all these lines with queen h4 and queen g3, and then that's when I said, like, maybe just bishop a8. just any move, but just keep the queens on. And I mean, I don't know. I think it still seems difficult for white, though, especially after fg. I don't know if I would have done fg.
Yeah, I would have done hg on reflex, but fg is fine. It lets the king out. Either way, I think white's fine after the queen trade. Like, I think very comfortable. You can now go b4 or rook c8 and feel reasonably confident.
Yeah. Yeah, I think rook c8
makes the most sense, right? Just make sure rooks come off.
Yeah.
b4 is kind of dubious.
It's b4, knight f8.
Well, b4, rook d7, right? And I'm trading my bishop for a knight. That doesn't really make sense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, also rook d7.
So we just start with rook c8.
I could still see black winning this after rook c8. They managed to get some kind of blockade. So they still got the 2 pawns.
Yeah. Yeah, if white had played hg, black's 4-on-2 was less impressive. Can't
Right.
expand, is he? Yeah, Thorbittles, I think, gets the right idea. Confide in the bishop pair, just keep trading.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, probably the one thing he regrets about it is that he can't like trap the black king in anymore, right? Because he had the bishop on d7, king f8, bishop c5 would be super nice. Now he can do it again, though. After that very quick knight maneuver from Mitch, just bishop c5 and oops. Mega oops.
I think it's still okay for black because you can go like knight c7, and then bishop e2, bishop.
But we just trapped our king. Is that not a concern?
I think black can get the king out.
Okay. So like knight c7, bishop. Oh, damn, this is another one.
Okay, knight f6. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the blitzing just kills me. You know, it's like it's a critical moment, Mitch. You know, like you got 10 minutes. Just take some time.
I'd go bishop a4.
Pretty quick. It's like this is where you gotta just like think. I mean, these positions are tough because they're like kind of like puzzles. They're like you gotta figure out like where do I put my pieces, in what order do I do this in, what kind of like scheme do I want. Like you gotta think schematically a lot of times.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. It's a different kind of calculation than like concrete move by move. But it's very important to like spend time because sometimes you just need a second to like conceptualize things. Like, okay, anyway, knight here, bishop here.
I was looking at bishop e7, f5, bishop e8, but knight f6 was satisfactory for black.
Mm-hmm.
I accept this move, even though it lets the king out. And he just keeps twirling his knight. What is it up to?
Yeah, the knight's just hopping around.
Is it ever gonna accomplish anything? Just to be clear, wasting time does not count as accomplishing something.
But now he's got the blockade. He's got bishop e2 if he wants. You can also blockade on b7. So f6. Yeah, I was going to say maybe f6. Maybe he's nervous about having to like mate with bishop and knight, so he's trying to leave himself a lot of time if it gets to that point.
Yeah, that's definitely consistent with Mitch.
Okay, now either king f7 or king e7. Sorry, king f7, then king e7.
Casting an eye over at the other position, and it looks very promising for Hicket Laurent.
Yeah.
Unless I've miscounted the pieces, it's like a beautiful positional advantage kind of deal.
Right. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this one. They're even here. It's 1-1, so this game is less critical. Mitch has a chance to win the semifinal match right now, but yeah, this one definitely, black just played a5, so we'll, yeah, for sure keep an eye on it.
Oh my goodness, Kostya. He could still go knight a7, which was the threat last move.
Oh, I missed that, but yeah, I see your point. It's nice.
Because before with the a pawn, okay, white would win a pawn, but now the rook will be trapped on a7 by the a5 pawn.
Yeah, that would be nice. and then b5. That's. Or you can just bishop b6. Yeah.
Bishop b6.
That's super annoying.
So knight a7. Forced would be knight d6.
Yeah, this could be
That keeps it going.
very strong.
Yeah, maybe that keeps the game going.
Yeah, knight d6 looks like could be an only move.
Okay, other idea. Knight c7 trying to trap the rook. Does that have any potential? Just going straight for the rook. Forget about being fancy.
Yeah, hold on. Rook b8, bishop takes b6.
Mm-hmm.
Knight d6. Take on a5. You at least get a pawn.
Would that be 2 pawns for free at that point? Oh, because e4 is hanging.
Yeah, black can take on e4, exactly. Yeah, definitely interesting opportunity. Take, I think, knight d6. Take on e4. Okay, still very much a game.
Yeah, fascinating. I would be pretty confident there's a win for white here. I would invest a lot of time. And I mean, up to the point of being confident that I'd found the win.
Yeah, it feels like very sharp moment. Laurent does go knight a7. Because he might want on knight d6 to play either bishop takes b6, or maybe he just wants to take on c8 and
Simplify
play
down.
with the bishop pair. Yeah.
That would be definitely giving up some of white's advantage for how stuffed the black pieces were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, at that point, maybe just a3 was totally fine for white in response to a5. I kept thinking it's a weenie move, but actually, black doesn't. Jesse would have just played a3. He wouldn't calculate nothing. But it looks fine. It looks like it keeps white's edge. Okay, Mitch and Thorbitals have traded down to opposite color bishops. So now this feels very, very good for Thor's drawing chances.
Yeah. Yeah, solid drawing chances.
Definitely requires some care for white because black, you can win with 2 protected passers. But I think his setup, like he's going to go h4 very soon. I feel like he's got a very comfortable setup. Yeah, I think it's like you could probably just even give the b pawn, I think, at this point.
He's allowing g5 though.
Yeah, I don't like that. And Mitch plays king d5 g5 and then h4. Okay, one move too late, but yeah, what about g5 for black and then f4?
I mean, it would have been totally up in the air again after g5.
Yeah, and then Thor would have like 3 minutes and might have like some kind of only move defense that's not simple.
Yeah, it would be something like, well, the king was on e6, right? So even bishop h6, f4 check, king f2, king f5 doesn't look like it helps. Yeah, it would be something really hard to find.
But now Thor gets h4 in time. It's kind of an interesting moment. I think like h4 here for us is just mandatory. It was not even like an instinct. It's just you got to trade off the pawns when you're trying to hold.
Yeah, the only other thing I considered was bishop h6, which is kind of, the one diagonal theory about bishops and how they blockade.
Yeah. And then h4 after that. But now h4. Okay, e4. Now it's done.
Yeah, let's watch the other one.
Yeah. So this will be a draw. Thor will have a chance to catch up in the last game. So what happened here? So knight a7, knight d6, take ab4.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this position a little bit, and I think the next move should be rook c7 probably. Although then I don't really know what's happening with bishop e5 and stuff, but that's my instinctive next move here is rook c7.
Yeah, it feels like white can still play this aggressively. Maybe rook b8. I want to go back and just see how we got to this point. So it was a Sicilian, accelerated dragon, knight g4. Forget the name of this line. So, yeah, this is some old theory. Knight e6, queen a5, queen d5. Get this kind of thematic endgame.
That I mean, to me, that's really hurting. After c takes d5.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Oh man, Laurent just. I wonder if he had like an even better knockout than Castles on move 17. Because again, the position is like starting to scream at me.
Yeah, it feels very ugly for black, for sure. But, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
guess I'm just exaggerating. It's probably nothing better than castling.
I still like, 20 move a3.
Mm-hmm.
That seems just very annoying for black, actually, because b pawn is hanging and bishop is
Yeah.
still stuck.
I
Bishop c5 play, knight takes e4. Now he's going to take one of the pawns. But this definitely feels like black is completely
oh,
getting out.
wow.
Maybe even more.
Yeah.
Because now the rook is itching to get into a2, and bishops are both very active.
Perhaps most of all, the knight a7 just became terrible.
Yeah, a problem piece.
Where before it was kind of like dominating black's trap pieces. Now the pieces aren't trapped, and the knight is just like, why am I on a7?
Mm-hmm.
So ambitious would be d6.
Oof. But now black is definitely the one playing here. D6 is a fantastic move. Wow. D6 is just brutal.
I mean, follow would be bishop c4 from white, right? Trying to hold the garbage pawns for a bit.
Yeah.
This is the second ambitious move, giving e7 with ideas of, bishop a6 in response.
Yeah, this definitely feels dangerous for white as well, because you have like g2 as this constant target, and black still has enough pieces to deliver mate. You can even trade one off with like knight d2 check, and you'd still have enough.
Yeah. Like if white can't take on e7, they're probably lost. I think concretely bishop e7, bishop a6. Struggling to see white's next move, actually.
Oh. Yeah, good point. Bishop a6 is pretty hurtful.
It's a little weird, right? Because you're expecting it to go to d5 and g2 and stuff, but maybe there's bishop d3.
Maybe. It felt very, very loose. D6.
Hoping for bishop c4, but imagine that won't happen. E6 is the most obvious move. Is there anything wrong with it?
Okay, knight c7 was the idea, but...
Guess White wants to go for some kind of sack on e6 kind of theme.
Right. But yeah, it feels optimistic. King f7, yeah, I was just thinking, for example, but you take anyway?
Knight takes anyway?
No, at d7, there's too many moves. Bishop f6, rook a8.
What's wrong with knight e6? Rook e2, knight d8?
Well, knight e6, I think pawn takes.
Rook c7?
Oh, rook c7, my bad. Yeah. Oh, so I'm a genius.
An absolute genius. Yeah, there may be something. Like knight e6, rook e2 is complicated, you know.
I mean, king takes e6 is also...
Bishop c4, bishop d5.
Yeah. And then... So...
Yeah. Genius is always punished.
And then black is still... Black still plays.
Yeah.
Thank you for subscribing, TD Rev. Not all heroes wear capes. Guess knight takes e6, bishop d5 also you could try.
But I think king e6 was conclusive.
Just king e6, just play that in game.
Yeah. So bishop c4 is the other move that we could look at right here.
Yeah, actually, sorry, just on this endgame, this does seem strong because black will play bishop d5, bishop f8, and just pick up the d pawn. And then yeah, that does seem like that should be winning.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that's the position you told us before, right?
Yeah, I just didn't quite realize we're getting the d pawn.
Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure either. I just assumed.
But no, that looks pretty good.
So I think against bishop c4, the move knight d2 looks pretty good for black. That's my feeling right now. Because we open up our bishop against g2. We trade off one of white's bishops. The idea of bishop c4 would be to try and get in, bishop takes e6, check, and d7. So bishop c4, knight d2, bishop d2, rook d2. We're behind the pawn, so there's no juice left, right?
Yeah, bishop knight d2 is definitely a killer.
And if on knight d2 the king moves, we trade off c4, and then there's no longer e6 stuff, and we collect g2 and just keep sort of...
Yeah, the bishops here are just monsters. 2 minutes for Laurent. The other game, let me just... Yeah, it looks like they drew that other game, and they're now on to game 4, and oh man. Orbitals has like the greatest King's Indian I've ever seen. I mean, holy smokes.
Oh, but the one thing to bear in mind right away is that Mitch hasn't yet played d4, d5. He played in English. So he can still get some traction in the center with d4. I mean, is it 4 moves too late to black's threats of g4 and f3? Yeah.
Yeah, g4 is just... painful. I mean, I think it's gonna have to be like a bishop h1 position. He's gonna have to play like knight c3 or something, g4, knight h4, f3, bishop h1, and just pray.
So those even count as positions.
Just one of these. I mean, we've all had them. You know, it's like it's winning for black, but you still gotta like break through, and it takes many moves.
Okay, that is so hopeless. I think I see two options, both less hopeless than that.
Yeah, maybe
Option
h3.
A is h3. Option B is g takes f4, g takes f4, d4.
Yeah, it's probably a better way to fight against against the counterplay. Definitely looks nice for black. But let's go back to the other game just because that one is more.
Yeah. Honestly, I think a better option than retreating both knights and the bishop to h1 would be king h1, g4, g takes f4. It's like 2 pawns for a piece, as opposed to like I trapped all my pieces in corners.
That's what happened. You know, we're gonna come back. We're gonna see the bishop on h1. Yeah, it's
On
just
h1, and then you'll like tell me how white is doing okay.
no, it's just what happens. No, I don't think white's okay. I just mean, just I've had, you know, I've been playing d4 for a long time, and I've definitely had that game where the pawns are just too fast. Your bishop ends up on h1.
Should we quickly PSA like how white could have played better earlier in this game? Because this is like in 12 moves lost with white.
Yeah,
There's got to be just basic strategic move to be aware of.
right. So Thorvald's did his thing. I mean, he does the Leningrad Dutch, which when it works out, you basically do get this King's Indian where you've saved time because you just got f5 in super early. And Mitch played it like kind of English style. And then castles, queen e8, queen c2, h6, e4, f4. I'm going to say e4 was maybe really bad.
Yeah, e4 looks very, very blamable as I look at it. And the obvious, so to speak, alternative is knight d5.
Yeah, knight d5, knight d2.
The moment the queen moves away.
Yeah, this looks pretty typical. Yeah, take knight c5, d4. And white can open stuff up. So yeah, e4, f4. I think f4 you should only allow if you can happily play gf4, but gf4 looks super risky. I imagine Thor probably goes knight h5, and yeah, basically this f4 square is a real problem for white. And yeah, so if e4, f4, you're going knight e2, g5, and yeah, that's so it's basically like last like 3 moves things have gone wrong.
Yeah,
he did go h3 and knight c5.
Yeah, opening up the bishop towards g4 and h3. So now he's ready to sack on g4 if white tries to close that side of the board.
But let's go to the other game. Looks like Timpe managed to win a piece.
Okay.
So
and it then resigned.
And wins. Yeah. So, let me find that game. So, yeah, this position felt really tough for white. And then rook b2, rook c4, bishop d5, and ooh, that might have been it. Black wins a piece. And
bishop d5 there.
Yeah, picks up the d pawn. Bishop d5 a little unexpected because you're like, oh, the knight's covering, but no, it all works out for black. So that's a big find for Timpe. He wins that game. Now he's up 1, so Laurent will be must-win situation. And
whoa,
wow, what what a weird position they have after like no time.
Oh yeah, I know this position.
Is this a known line, like this 94, 96 check?
Yeah. It's the Mykonos. I don't know many chess names. It's the Mykonos variation of the 4-pawn attack against the Benoni.
Wow.
Whereas bishop e5 check is the Taimanov. But Mykonos is you just play e5 with no further ado.
Yeah, it feels a little uncultured.
Well,
But it's
it's like
clearly,
like if your opponent was playing the hippo, instead of like the Queen's Gambit or something, right? You'd just be like, all right.
wow. That that's man. This must be an old line because like
Yeah.
I remember looking at bishop e5 check many years ago, and I never even knew e5 was a move here for white.
I read about it in Son of Sorrow.
Wow.
An opening book about Benoni. But Laurent seems well booked up.
Yeah,
Timpier
he's not
fine.
the guy to just blitz out this kind of opening.
Yeah, but White picked the line, and that means Laurent was prepared for a line that Kostya hadn't heard of. That's pretty deep opening up. Pretty
I
well thought out.
I I would think so. Yeah, I've never seen e5. And at first glance, I mean, it looks very scary, like 94.
Oh yeah, it's scary.
I mean, I'm like, oh wow,
I guess
like
that's
white
why,
could just get this, like, dang.
yeah, I guess that's why Laurent's booked on it because if you it's one of those positions like certain sharp Nightorfs, right? Where if you play one wrong move, you could be losing. So
Right.
the line shouldn't win for white, but it will if you don't know it.
Yeah. Maybe this is something Timpe has played before. Maybe Laurent is well prepared. Like maybe
Hmm.
this is a blitz line he goes for or something.
Yeah. So knight b6 stops two of the most terrifying moves, bishop c4 and queen d5. So we can understand the move that way.
Yeah, it must be fine for black objectively. I mean, otherwise people would play this more often.
Yeah. It can't be even better than the Taimanov.
Huh. Yeah, weird position.
So one of black's trumps here. Holy moly.
Oh wow, wow, what a move.
And one of black's trumps here is like d4 square. As the game goes forward, that you can plunk something on d4 and cut white off from that d pawn and make it weak rather than strong. But okay, we're just gonna see some tactics. Black
Dang.
takes, it must be queen d5, queen d7,
You just take your horse back. Yeah.
queen c4, not queen d6.
Now queen d6. Yeah.
Maybe bishop d4 there. Prepping king g7 and preventing white from castling. Seems okay.
Okay, Laurent's thinking. So Laurent might be out of book for the first time. Like everything else he's blitzed up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
Yeah.
definitely a move that, like, if the engine doesn't show this move, you don't even consider it. You don't feel like it's not possible.
Yeah. And it doesn't look great to me. How about h6?
I was just thinking h6.
Maximum disrespect.
H6 is definitely like a computer doesn't show this, and I'm gonna punish you. I'm gonna try to figure out why. H6.
If you have looked at the line and you do know that bishop c4, like if you know well enough that bishop c4 is not like top 3 moves for the computer here, then you would look at h6.
Yeah. Definitely.
But the problem with this move might just be that like the baseline of knight c4, queen d5, queen d7 is not that impressive for white.
Mm-hmm.
Might just be that.
Oh, he does go h6.
Cold.
2-minute think.
Cold.
Yeah, cold-blooded.
Oh, it's on a high level. On a high level.
And it's a painful move. White has a piece hanging already. Now black introduces a second attack.
Yeah.
And basically commits both parties to a full-fledged brawl.
So, I mean, to me, the main line is just knight f7, knight c4, knight h8, bishop h8, and then, you know, maybe f5. Opening up our only remaining minor piece, right? As well as the rooks.
Yeah, the f-file. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would consider bishop f7 as well. HG, bishop g6. But feels like...
You have no other active piece.
Yeah, we don't quite have it. Like g4 maybe for black.
Or maybe queen e6, threatening to trap your bishop so that you play f5 and then...
Queen e6 also. Yeah, and just blockade on the dark squares. Absolutely. I think it just runs out for white. So yeah, knight f7 played. Knight c4, take, take. And now...
I have a vicious move. f5 e3. That would be vicious.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't think it's the right one, but that's a get out of here move.
Yeah, e3 is pretty filthy.
So, you know, you can follow with bishop d4, right? And you've trapped white's queenside, which is most of their pieces.
Yeah, that's the problem. I feel like black just activates so quickly here. Bishop d4, knight c6. Okay,
There
queen
comes
d5. Queen comes in.
Yeah. Knight b2 is kind of like, maybe rather than retreating.
Knight b2 is definitely possible. Knight b6 would be like the normal kind of move. Don't really see what's wrong with knight b2 though. That feels more ambitious.
Yeah. It's ambitious. Everything's kind of ambitious in its own way. It's a sharp position. You just have to fight.
Yeah.
What would white play against knight b6? Queen e4 maybe?
Queen e4 probably, yeah.
And then material-wise, it's a pawn and a rook. So if black plays queen e8, it's not clearly over.
Okay, but actually that gives us some clarity, because I feel like that would be much better for black.
Yeah.
This endgame. King comes to d7. I would think I'm maybe winning as black in a couple moves. Bishop is so strong on h8. Yeah, I would. So that gives black some baseline. At least that's like a minimum. Okay, he does take on b2. He's like, I don't want that. I want more. Queen e8 is a nice move. I see me knight c6 first.
Yeah. Like, the reason I like looking at moves like queen e8 is to give me signposts, right? Like, some kind of guidance of what the ballpark is for the evaluation and what I'm looking for. Something to compare my other options to.
Yeah. This one is definitely more ambitious. 'Cause now it's extra pawn for black currently. But maybe white takes on e4 right now. Knight d3 check.
Anyway.
Yeah.
After queen g6, you'll have fair chances at a perpetual, I think. Oh no, there's queen e8 check again. Whatever.
Yeah, queen e8 kills it.
Oh,
yeah, even here, queen e4, queen e8 looks... Yeah, I mean, it's just the same endgame for black, but we already got the b2 pawn.
Right. So it's completely lost.
Laurent, he's the one that needs to win to force a tiebreak, which, by the way, is 2 games of 3+2. Indefinitely, just until there's a winner. So it could be an all-night, Wimbledon final kind of thing. We'll see.
So another position would be bishop b2, rook d1, bishop d4. And then queen e4, queen e8. And I mean, white can at least get the rooks into the game, maybe with rook f1 and f5, but okay, he offers the exchange. And Laurent, yeah, doesn't even mess with knight d3. He leaves it hanging over white's head. Takes.
Oh, instant queen e8. Wow. 3-second queen e8.
Yeah.
He's in the zone.
Yeah, it really feels like he just like cranked up a level for this game.
Yeah.
Like just kind of clarity.
This is like super Benoni. I'm curious what happened in their their previous game, their round 2 game, when
it was a total mess. I just saw the middle game that
was black.
The fact that white's thinking for half a minute in a rapid game about, queen e8 when Laurent's playing queen e8 in 3 seconds and like your queen's hanging on e4, what else are you gonna do? it shows that white is under a lot of pressure here.
Oh, so it was the same line that second game.
Wow.
But instead of knight e4, Timpi played knight f3. So, and I presume black was fine there.
Playable. Yeah, that's not playable.
So yeah, clearly this is something Laurent has prepared, and quite nicely.
Okay, this is gonna get interesting.
Yeah, here I thought black can just bail out with knight d3 and yeah, take on c1.
And then rook b7.
Man, I knew you were going to do something crazy like that.
You had that feeling, right? That it was coming. It was coming. A little bit of complexity.
Take. And yeah, you really want to keep your piece as black.
I mean, if you don't take on a2 there, you're in trouble.
Okay, knight takes c1 on the board, and white's pausing. That's huge. Yeah. Huge pause. So he's definitely going to play rook takes b7.
Well, he also has rook e1, which is not trash.
You can throw that in too.
Then, you get like king d7, rook b7 check, king c6. Yeah, I think white should just go rook b7.
Okay, so what happens rook b7? Let's just say knight takes a2. Rook e1?
Probably. Let me just think a second. Guess rook e1 first. Wow.
Okay, rook e1.
Yeah, I think I would have played rook e1, king d8, rook e to e7 in that line with knight a2.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he does go rook e1 check. Okay.
Went rook e1 check first,
Mm.
which I don't really see working. But we'll see.
Well, what does he want on king d7? Okay, king d8 played.
We'll never know. Yeah, I couldn't tell. King d7, rook b7, king c6 looked like you don't have a lot of options. Maybe there's rook h7 there. I also
Oh,
thought maybe.
the Mitch game is done. There
Okay.
was a mate.
What do you mean?
There was a mate on the board. Rook e7. Ooh, white got some serious
Wait, Mitch
counterplay here.
h3 d4, furiously opening the center, giving the e pawn. Who cares? That's good by Mitch. Yeah. Whoa, weird tempo move with rook e1, giving up his king. What? Wow, Mitch played really bravely there, actually.
Yeah, very active. Very nice.
Dang. I mean, giving the h3 pawn too, right? What a... Oh, man.
Yeah, we thought it was cooked for Mitch there, but he manages to get d4 in time. So well done, Mitch, qualifying to the final. He will play the winner of this match, Timpe against Laurent. And okay, we're back on this thing. So we just just passed this moment. So white does take on c1. Yeah, I guess if rook takes b7, knight a2, it wasn't super clear that white is getting enough. But after it takes on c1, I guess it's equal pawns, so it's still some work here for black to convert this, but I feel like I definitely like black's chances, like bishop d4 here.
Yeah. Rook e7.
Then
b5. Just start queening that pawn.
b5, yeah, maybe knight d7, but you want knight c6.
I don't want knight d7. Then white just plays like rook h7 or something, and I have to move the knight anyway. I don't know where, and I give up b7. I feel like after rook e7, my queen side's trapped, and maybe I should just play b5, a5, b4, and develop the rook really slowly while queening.
That's funky.
Yeah, I don't know what else to do, I guess.
Yeah, I like it. Oh, he goes knight c6 right away. Oh,
So this
okay.
keeps the rooks out at the cost of the c pawn. I considered this too. Idea just, rook c5, king d7, and nobody comes in.
It's practical,
And
but
you take it slower.
then rook d5, you still got to win this pawn at some point.
Yeah. You're far from winning it. There's a lot of work to do. The rooks have some space. He finds more space too. Yikes.
Rook f8, rook f6. Maybe it's doable.
What are you thinking here for black?
Ooh, rook e6. Uh-oh. I didn't see this one.
Okay, yeah, it's an interesting one he's just hit him with.
Uh-oh. This whole evaluation just changed for me.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay, knight c6 was not good. Oh, this rook e6 was coming. Man, king really should have gone to d7, I think, on rook e1 check.
Big time.
King had to get out.
But like Timpy put that question to him with rook e1 check. Right, and there's some ghosts and some calculation to be done there. And I think that's where Laurent is just sometimes a little bit fuzzy in good positions.
Mm-hmm.
Is doing the work of calculating some messy lines.
Yeah. Because now, I mean, this just got super unclear.
Black's almost out of pawns here.
Mm-hmm.
White's got an army.
Yeah, Laurent needed to be a little crisper with the calculation there. And King D8 just played a little bit too fast. Like he still has
Right.
eight
He
and a
had the
half minutes there.
time. He had the time.
Yeah, time advantage. Yeah, for sure.
One of the most important things I think to say about the Mitch versus Thorbiddles match is both of them had a great time. And that's something we should not forget about this Dojo Championship is playing these matches. Often people, well, when we first started running the Dojo Championship, like everybody participating in it had never played a 4 game or 6 game or even 8 game match before, like we sometimes had.
Hmm.
Now, if they played a match before, it was in a previous year's Dojo Championships. Otherwise, it's a really a unique experience. So they're having a blast and making it down to like the game 4 situations. It's really cool.
Yeah, some good matches too. I mean, it's like I totally agree. I think matches are great because you learn so much more when you're like prepping a line that you're actually gonna see over the board than just doing random opening study. Like, oh, I got to study this main line just because it's a main line. It's like, yeah, I think you get a lot out of it.
Timpy has a very important move here, I think. That move might be okay too. But I thought the great move was Rook F5. Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's pretty painful.
Like, because Black's whole plan is Bishop E3 to F4 to save the H6 pawn, right? And keep things going. But Rook F5, you stop that, and Rook F7 looks unstoppable. The King's forced all the way to the 8th rank, and it's just complete hands off the D pawn or the F pawn, right? So
Yeah, I think this is now like completely winning for white. Under 1800 final will be tomorrow, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central European.
I guess the one move of interest would maybe be Rook E6 against Rook F5. But previously with the pawn on b7, white would at least pick up the b7 pawn and trade off black's one rook. So then it's like a really tough technical
Mm-hmm.
situation for black.
Yeah.
And it's also a 2-result position from white's perspective. So
Oh boy. Well, now it's 3 pawns for white. And
yeah,
Laurent has
but
finally activated his pieces, but
finally some kind of coordination.
I don't see. Well, I guess he can take on a2. That's
He's going to take
something.
a2 and get some kind of a race.
Yeah. It's a race.
And rook e1 doesn't
Rook
crush
e1.
him because, among other things, he has knight f5.
Mm-hmm.
Cleaning up d6. So it's really a bit of a race maybe between the h pawn and the a pawn.
So it's still super double-edged, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
3 pieces versus 2. Man, both sides have passed. Oh, what an endgame.
I call these endgames race endgames in general when like a dominant factor is passed pawns on each side of the board.
Mm-hmm.
And I quite like them. One interesting factor about race endgames is that bishops are often very close to as good as a rook. Because if they get on one of the longer diagonals, they can both help promote their pawns and hinder the promotion of the other pawns in a way which rooks can't even actually do.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember learning long ago that, like, exactly that. When both sides have passed pawns, bishops can be just as dangerous. And not even clearly worse. Just because with all the squares they control. You remember my game with Sasakiran? That was definitely a big theme at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, rook e8.
Backs out, and now what was rook e2 about, and what hope is there?
Yeah.
What fear? Even if
Yeah, I
he
don't
feared
get.
something, his rook should have been at f2 or g2 or somewhere, no?
Yeah, I don't get rook e8. Well,
This
clearly he
move,
was afraid of rook e1. I guess.
Oh, he must have been rookie 1, yeah.
But now he loses.
It's really a wandering piece. I guess he's got rookie 3 a second time, like, to try and refine shape for his pieces.
I don't know. He's gonna need some coordination here, because also like he needs to win. So even if he gets rookie 3 check king c2, like can't imagine black is better than a repetition here, like best case scenario.
That was a cold-blooded move from Timpy.
Rook d1's pretty nice. I like rook d1.
That is classy. Basically, folks, so first of all, he's stopping bishop takes d6 in general with the threat of moving his king. But the real thing is, like, black's going to go on some rampage with rook e3, rook e4, whatever. Rook e3, king c4, rook e4, king b5, rook f4, and then he'll have rook h7 at the end, with the rook on d1 defending the d-pawn, and then he can get the d-pawn pushing.
Yeah, so he set up just some immediate counterplay for whenever the checks run out. So it's very nice.
This being active because he doesn't care about e4, f4, g4. That is...
Yeah. As long as white doesn't get mated, he's okay. So going to... He could go to d5, actually.
If he goes...
It's a little psychotic, but...
Ooh,
he does it. Yeah, and then rook h7. Yeah, it's rook h7, king c6.
c6 is the key here next. Oh, but there's knight check.
There's still knight e5.
Still knight.
But definitely not king e6.
King e6, knight g5, king e5.
You can go... This is a stupid line, but you can go rook e1, knight takes e1, king c6, and then I think you have at least a draw there after rook f8. You can give checks on the 7th rank.
That is one of the dumbest lines anyone's ever suggested.
Yeah, I'm not even sure it works. Oh yeah, this is just an immediate draw. Yeah, another reason why.
He can go rook e1, hang the rook, repeat.
But yeah, I don't even think that works, actually. King hides in the corner.
It didn't even work. Like, had d6 among other ways to stop it.
Yeah.
Logically.
It was just a thought.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. It's good to suggest something kooky sometimes.
Oh man, but I think Timpy's figured it out. You just check and check, and that's it. I mean,
yeah.
You can't really play this for a win as black.
Man, that rook d1 was classy.
Rook d1 is very nice. Yeah.
Ooh.
Game drawn, Laurent. Yeah. Regrettably gives it up, but nothing to do. I mean, if king e8, you just give check again. I mean, king f7, king c6, you're just kind of trying to lose at this point, basically.
Yeah, if you run your king like 2 files away from the d-pawn to avoid perpetual, I mean, at some point white can just play d7, d8, right?
Yeah, of course. Just
d7. One overall sort of like feeling on that match is that Laurent got great positions out of the openings, like incredible great, right? And just didn't have that precision in conversion and picking your line at the key moment when there's 2 or 3 complicated options.
Yeah, this last one definitely felt like black was winning at some point, maybe throughout, but had to. I mean, Timpy, I think, was very, very resourceful, to their credit.
Yeah, for sure.
So congrats to Timpy. That means it's going to be Timpy and Mitch in the finals tomorrow. Another 4-game match. Blitz tiebreak if tied after 4 games.
We're not doing 6 games for the championship?
Were we doing 6 games?
I thought we were doing 6 games for the championship.
Oh. You might be right. Let's ask the players.
Okay.
And whatever they want to do.
Whatever they want to do is fine. Yeah, I mean, we
But
don't
yeah,
truly,
well,
you know, care too much, but 44 games. All right, that sounds good. Oh, only 4?
44
44
games.
really epic.
So Mitch and Timpy in the finals. It'll be Thor versus Laurent in the third place match. So Thor and Laurent, you guys are also um, up to play tomorrow at the same time, 2 p.m. Eastern, and we'll have the under 1800 final tomorrow as well. Yeah, sorry folks, we missed the first 2 games. I had internet issues, but it was still a very, very exciting match. After that, we were able to catch the second half.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys had fun. Yeah, Mitch's wife is like threatening to go into labor. So maybe for their sake.
He could play from his phone from the delivery. You put your phone down. I'm about to be champion. I'm about to be Dojo champion.
Yes, that would be unfortunate. But yeah, it's fun to follow. Hopefully, people enjoyed the games as well. Folks, the 2024 DojoLiga season is currently ongoing, and you can join and play just by joining our Chess team. Check out the link under !! tournaments. I'm gonna put it in the chat to get full info about the league. But basically, you join our Chess team, play in any of the events, and you will get tracked on our scoreboard. You can also join the Discord and see your standings within the club there. Every month we have some winners. The winners then qualify for the Dojo Championship at the end of the year, and we are now seeing the finals of that. So, yeah.
I used to have to go through all the Dojo tournaments, tournament by tournament, checking where people finished and like tallying up points by hand for the whole year. Oh my God. Thank goodness for automation.
Yeah, it's much easier now. Shout out to Noob Master, Jack, and Alex Dodd for basically running the league. Right, folks. So that'll do it. We're going to have a final tomorrow. Same time, 2 p.m. Eastern.